The email came on a Tuesday morning, 3 weeks after they walked her out of the building. Subject line, opportunity. Marissa stared at it for a full minute before opening it. Her former boss, Greg, wanted to meet for coffee. She almost deleted it. He was the one who signed off on her termination, citing performance issues that had never existed before she questioned the quarterly expense reports. But her savings account was down to $400, her daughter needed new shoes, and the mortgage was due in 6 days. She went. Greg sat across from her at a chain coffee shop, looking relaxed in a polo shirt and khakis. I know things ended badly, he said, stirring his latte, but I want to make it right. He slid a business card across the table. Senior analyst at a consulting firm she'd heard of. Good reputation. Better pay than her last job. They re-partner company, Greg said. I recommended you personally. You start Monday if you want it. Marissa picked up the card, felt the weight of it. Why? Greg smiled. Because you good at what you do, and because I know you need this. She took the job. The first 2 weeks were smooth. The office was smaller, quieter. Her manager seemed competent. She filed reports, ran projections, kept her head down. Then, on a Friday afternoon, 2 men in suits showed up in the lobby asking for her by name. They were from an auditing firm. They had questions about her previous employer. The men introduced themselves as investigators hired by the state comptroller's office. They wanted to know about discrepancies in vendor contracts from her old company. Marissa's hands went cold. She told them she handled some of the paperwork, but was not involved in procurement decisions. That was true. Mostly. One of the men leaned forward. We seeing inflated invoices, payments to shell companies. You reviewed these reports. Did you notice anything unusual? She had. She deflagged 3 invoices that did not match delivery records. Greg had told her to approve them anyway, said it was a timing issue with accounting. She'd done it, and then she'd been fired 2 weeks later. Now, sitting in a conference room with 2 investigators watching her, Marissa said she did not remember anything specific. They thanked her and left. That night, Greg called. Heard you had visitors, he said. His tone was light, but there was an edge underneath. Just wanted to check in. Make sure we on the same page. What page is that? Marissa asked. The one where you remember that I got you this job. That I vouched for you. That your name is on some of those reports too. Her stomach dropped. I did not do anything wrong. I know, Greg said smoothly. And as long as you keep saying that, everything stays fine. For both of us. He hung up. Marissa sat on her couch, staring at her phone. Her daughter was asleep upstairs. The mortgage payment had cleared that morning. She wanted to believe this would blow over. But 2 days later, she got a call from an old coworker. Linda. They worked together for 6 years, had lunch every Thursday. Linda's voice was shaking. They froze my pension, she said. The whole fund. They saying the company mismanaged it. That money missing. Marissa, I was going to retire next year. That was everything I had. Marissa could not sleep that night. She kept seeing Linda's face, the way her voice had cracked on the phone. The pension fund was not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It was people. People she knew. People who worked 30 years and were counting on that money. The next morning, the investigators came back. This time they had printouts, highlighted sections, her initials on approval forms. We need to be clear about something, one of them said. If this goes to criminal prosecution, anyone who signed off on fraudulent transactions could be charged as an accessory. Marissa's mouth went dry. I was following orders. I did not know that it's not a defense, the man said quietly. Not legally. They asked her to come in for a formal interview the following week. She agreed because she did not know what else to do. When she got back to her desk, there was a post-it note stuck to her monitor. Just 3 words in Greg's handwriting. We need to talk. She met him in the parking garage after work. He was leaning against his car, arms crossed. You thinking about saying something? He asked, because that would be a mistake. They going after people's pensions, Greg. Linda lost everything. Linda's situation is unfortunate, he said. But that's not your problem. You start talking, you'll be the one they go after. I'll make sure of it. He stepped closer. You signed those forms, Marissa. Your name, your initials. I can make it look like you were running the whole thing. Who do you think they believe? The senior manager with 15 years at the company, or the analyst who got fired for performance issues? Marissa felt the ground tilt under her. He had her. Every document, every email, every approval she signed thinking she was just doing her job. He could twist it all. And she had a daughter, a mortgage, a life that depended on this job he'd given her. She drove home in silence. That night, she pulled up her bank account for $1,000. Enough for maybe 2 months if she was careful. She thought about Linda, about the others, about what it meant to stay silent. Marissa showed up for the formal interview on Monday morning. She brought a folder. Inside were copies of every email Greg had sent her, every directive to approve questionable invoices, every time he told her to ignore discrepancies. She printed them all out over the weekend, hands shaking the whole time. The investigators listened as she walked them through it. How she flagged the problems. How Greg had overridden her concerns. How she'd been fired the moment she pushed back. Why did not you come forward sooner? One of them asked. She did not have a good answer for that. I was scared, she said finally. I still am. They told her she'd likely be called as a witness, that there could be legal fees, that Greg would fight back. She knew all of that. She also knew she could not live with herself if she stayed quiet. When she walked out of the building, her phone was already ringing. Greg. She did not answer. He called 4 more times that day. Then he sent a text. You just destroyed your career. She blocked his number. 2 weeks later, the state filed charges. Wire fraud, embezzlement, pension fund misappropriation. Greg's name was all over the indictment. So were 3 others from the executive team. Marissa's name was not there, but her job offer was quietly rescinded. No explanation, just an email from HR saying the position was no longer available. She filed for unemployment, started sending out resumes. It took 3 months to find something new. Smaller company, lower pay, but the people seemed decent. Linda called her once after the news broke. Thank you, she said. The pension fund was still frozen, still under investigation, but at least now there was a chance some of it might be recovered. Marissa did not feel like a hero. She felt tired. But when she picked her daughter up from school that afternoon and looked her in the eye, she did not have to look away. And that, she thought, was something